Whoa.
What's the big deal with all this talk about doing sports radio in the morning is tough?
What do you mean?
I'm fine. Woke up at 4 a.m. this morning, had no coffee, did 3 hours, drove back from Napa. I'm home now in Oakland. It's nothing. Still got all the energy in the world.
You look like it.
How the hell do you do this every day?
You get used to it.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I'm fucking exhausted.
You get used to it.
I bet, but like,
just do it.
Yeah, I know. Just the night before when you're like, all right, I got to do this tomorrow morning. It sucks. Like I'm watching like Thursday Night Football and Seahawks and Bears, and I'm like writing questions for John Lynch, and I'm like, God, I got to go to bed in like an hour. This blows.
You also watched that game. That's sad.
I did. It's football.
The terrible bit. What are you talking about? It's football.
Okay, that's what we're going to get into a lot today. Because I know these Christmas Day games were not good. But God damn it, is it football, all right?
They were awful. 3 games in 11 days. You love that product, huh?
That's something we could talk about as well. Because I saw John Gruden go on Barstool and talk about how much he hates Thursday Night Football, man. And I agree with him. It's not a great product, but in the end, it is football.
Yeah.
Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, coming to you 2 days after Christmas. Stephen, how was your Christmas?
It was tasty, as you like to say, Derek.
That is an adjective I would use.
It was tasty. It was good, man. We went to her dad's on Christmas Eve and then had a little dinner, opened up a lot of gifts. Her dad is very generous, by the way. Tony, he's a very generous gift giver.
Tony, I know Tony.
Yeah, he like he texts the group. We have like a little group chat, and he asks tells everyone to fill out like a Christmas list, and you don't think you're going to get much on that Christmas list.
Mm-hmm.
But then you fill it out. I got literally everything on that Christmas list.
Damn.
Jesse just told me to put 5 or 6 things so I could give them options. And then I ended up getting a whole heap of stuff. It was like,
let me guess. One of those gifts was a Nike sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that you're rocking it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not this. This is not it. This is one I've had.
Oh, really?
There. Have you not seen this before?
You've never worn that before.
I've worn this a lot on the pod.
Okay, so you got another Nike sweatshirt?
It's funny that you guessed it. Yeah, I got another Nike sweater. Yeah.
Yeah. you just are having wearing a different one.
Yes. Yeah, but you guessed right. I did get a nice Nike sweater. And God, how'd you do? Wow, well done.
Well, I thought you were wearing the clothes that you got.
No. But I ended up.
It's even more weird that you got the same thing, but you're wearing a different thing.
Well, I kind of am wearing the clothes that I got. I'm partially wearing the clothes that I got. Check these out.
I hope we're wearing shoes. Oh, okay, all right.
Huh?
A lot of freaks out there into that. Okay.
Socks with the poop and the Santa Claus. This hurts.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So I got those on, but what was I going to say? Oh, this was like the most amount of gifts I've received like in my Christmas and birthdays, like total for like over the course of 7 years. It's crazy how much I got. I was overwhelmed actually. But that's not what Christmas is about. But God damn it, did it feel good. And then, but dude, no, we had a good time. And then on Christmas Day, my mom was in England. Normally we'd spend it with my mom, but she was not here. So we just woke up and I went to work, came back, opened gifts, took a nap, watched a little football, watched a little basketball, also watched a Complete Unknown. Went to the movies.
How was that? Well, we talk about that later in Pop Culture Catch-Up.
Good, man. Solid flick.
All right, well, we'll get to that. I haven't seen it yet.
How about you, Mr. Napa Wine Man?
Went up to old St. Helena where my stepmom and my family were hanging out at an old Airbnb and had fun. Went up there on Christmas Eve. Watched a little of Elf and Jingle All the Way. And for everyone that's giving me shit for taking Jingle All the Way, 3rd overall in the KMBR holiday movie draft, I think you're all stupid. Okay, because I think it's a good selection. That movie perfectly epitomizes 90s Christmas toys. Tickle Me Elmos, Furbies, all that shit. People were going crazy for those toys. And it's a good commentary on the times. When I was watching the movie, I was like, this is good. There's better Christmas movies out there. A lot better Christmas movies.
Well, what was number 4?
Well, so Walter and Tim went. Walter took The Grinch #1. Tim took Die Hard 2. I took Jingle All the Way 3. And it was a snake draft. So then I went to take National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 4th. In hindsight, I probably should have flip-flopped, but whatever.
If Grinch and Die Hard were the top 2 and you took Jingle All the Way 3rd, yeah, you got some real problems.
Yeah. I still stand by my selection.
Good God, that is the Robert Gallery of Christmas movie picks.
For me?
Yeah. Yeah. You drafted like the Raiders. No wonder.
I kind of panicked and it's like, what's a movie on this list that I like? And I like Jingle All the Way.
You didn't even think?
In hindsight, well, I still got National Lampoon. You know what? It was kind of a steal because National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is a lot better than Jingle All the Way. But you take it at 4 and you're getting a good bundle there.
It's like, damn. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but damn, top 3, you were justifiably shit on for that.
All right, fair enough. But then the next day, more of the family came up. We had the football going. We had the basketball game going. Steph and LeBron, and got a nice gift from my little brother. Really appreciated it. It was a sweatshirt that he custom made. Still getting it in the mail, but it was a custom sweatshirt that had the Dirty Work logo on it from the movie. So I appreciated that.
Oh, nice.
Well done. Shit. Well done, Nick. That's about it. And then, did the remote shows from the Napa location. Had to kick my sister and her fiance out of the room she was staying in because it was secluded so I can prep and do the morning show and everything. And it was a good time. And then drove back this morning.
And you're exhausted.
I'm very exhausted. Yes.
And you're closing it out with just your opinion, man.
The only way I know how, sir.
What a perfect way to do it.
Yeah. And plus we have 3 football games tomorrow, so I figured we'd do this thing tonight. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's talk about the Christmas Day sporting events. Yes, I'm well aware that the Chiefs-Steelers game was a blowout. I'm well aware that the Ravens-Texans game was a blowout. But you know what? Okay, I get it. It wasn't as good as Steph versus LeBron, but we still got football on Christmas Day. Was it worth it? You have to ask the players.
What's your argument here?
My argument is,
this is what because it's pretty clear you're going somewhere with this. What's your argument?
The argument is
Christmas Day game sucked. That's it.
Okay, but it's better to have football than not have football, Steve.
Disagree. What are you talking about? No one wanted to watch that.
Well, 65 million people say otherwise.
65 million people did it because they wanted to see the realization that Netflix is actually airing a Christmas Day game. Did you see the history of this? Like, the NFL playing on Christmas Day, that's fine. Do whatever you have to do.
All right.
But 2023, Wall Street Journal literally told them, or they told the Wall Street Journal, we are not going to be playing football games on Christmas Day if they land on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And then they get $150 million from Netflix because Netflix offered them up the money. And they said, you know what? We are going to broadcast 2 games, even though these teams are going to suck and they have to play 3 games in 11 days. And we're going to throw the whole schedule out of whack. This is like totally against everything that Christmas is about.
Steven, are you listen, I know I shill for the NFL.
Yes.
But you actually think that they're ever going to not take some people's extra cash if they have it? And the opportunity to go with Netflix, a thing that the NFL has not tapped into yet?
No, because the NFL is a bunch of greedy pigs. But
so is every sports league, but the NFL definitely is.
So what how are you defending them?
My point is this. LeBron James. Yes. Did Steph and LeBron have the best night of anybody in sports on Christmas Day? Absolutely. That game was 10 times better than any football game I watched that day. But for him to come out and say, hey, Christmas Day is the NBA's, stop it. You're out of your mind.
What are you talking about?
Because that's not true. The NFL is taking over. You have to accept it, LeBron. I don't give a shit. I understand that.
What? Who are you to tell LeBron to accept that the NFL is taking over?
Because they are, Steven. What the hell are you talking about?
He's played 19 times on Christmas Day, and the NBA has done this every year since like the 70s.
Well, too bad, so sad. Next year, when it's on a Thursday, there's going to be 3 games. You're going to be up Schitt's Creek.
This is the weirdest take you've ever had.
Why is this a weird take?
Because you just accept it. Just let football take over. Football is king. It doesn't have to be. Who cares?
It 100% is. Am I taking crazy pills? Who am I talking to here?
You are taking crazy pills. Like, who cares?
Who cares?
Yes. This is the most bizarre take you've ever had. I know, like I know you love football, Derek, but like, good God, man, the games suck. That's the fact. And so what? The NFL's taking over on Christmas Day. Whatever. The NBA games were a lot better, and this threw everything out of whack. Look, it's fine if they want to do it on Thursday, Sunday, or Monday, because that falls on a traditional day that football normally plays. But dude, come on. You watch those games. That was the most pathetic excuse for a product I've ever seen. 2 points. 2 points by the Texans.
Well, okay, let's be real. The Texans have looked like a shitty team for a while now.
Not like 2 points, though.
I mean, do you expect them to put us some offense up after Tank Dell busted his knee?
I expect them to put up at least a field goal, yeah.
Well, the Ravens still scored 31 points.
Yeah, great. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry ran all over the Texans defense after playing for 3 games in 11 days. Fantastic.
What the hell are you munching on? You got enough for the whole class here? We're doing a podcast here.
Just a cookie. Sorry.
My point is this, man. It's just...
I didn't realize I was eating it in the middle of me talking.
Yeah, I know. You thought you and I were just having a casual conversation and not on the stream.
Yeah, I kind of forgot. That's what this podcast does.
My whole point is, yeah, okay, LeBron, like, yes, the NBA has been on Christmas Day for a long time. But, like, he took it as, like, an insult. Like, how dare they put games on today? They're going to come for everything. That's what they do.
I think he knows how bad the games were, though, and Stephen LeBron just had another classic moment, and he's had those a lot. Like,
yeah,
would you not be offended if you were LeBron just a little bit? It's LeBron James, dude. I think he has much more pull to defend the NBA than you do to defend the NFL.
I'll challenge him on it.
Okay.
I mean, fine. I mean, you can feel offended all you want, but it's not changing.
And you didn't like the only thing that people tuned in for anyway, which was the Beyonce halftime show.
I did not. You know what? People come for me. I don't care. I don't care for Beyonce. I don't. I like that.
If you worked on a format where like it wasn't just a bunch of male 25 to 54-year-olds, then man, the Beehive would be coming after you.
I told my sisters all this too. Don't care for Beyonce. I like that. It's too much. It's a regular season game. Don't need to put $65 million into a halftime show. All right.
Don't need to pay $150 million to broadcast 2 regular season games. I'll counteract with that.
But that's the business.
But this is what happens when you have the NFL getting a bunch of money for it. They are going to give a bunch of that to Beyonce.
Well, I totally get it. I believe me. Like LeBron James going out of his way to say, "Oh, NFL, it's not your day." I understand. They want women to watch these halftime shows during Christmas, so they put Beyonce on. I get it. Totally understand. It's not for me, though.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But I would say that those NFL games were not for me because that was not football. That sucked.
Well, okay. Let's talk about that for a second because I'm assuming you watched the John Gruden video clip where he goes on Barstool and talks about how much he hates Thursday Night Football.
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't see that one. I didn't see one of those. There's a lot of Gruden content.
There's a lot of Gruden content, and they really cashed in getting him because he puts out a lot of content, and it's good. I watch it all. Gruden basically says, yes, what we've all been saying for years, the content of Thursday Night Football sucks because you have teams playing on a short week. You can't really game plan to the full extent that you want to, and it's not good football. And my argument is, yeah, you can say, okay, a couple weeks ago when the Broncos and Chargers played, that was a really good game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, every now and there's a good Thursday night game. But yes, for the most part, yeah, I'm with you that Thursday Night Football is a little rushed. You have guys playing on injuries. Yeah, I'll admit that it's not the best product. I'm also just real. It's not going away. Like money talks, bullshit walks. People still tune in. No matter how many people complain about the product, you're still going to tune into Amazon Prime. Same thing with this. Did I think it was a good idea to rush these games to go from a Saturday to a Wednesday? Probably not. I mean, when I saw that they were going to do this, I even said to you, I think last year at this time, that next year on Christmas they're not going to do NFL games, and I was dead wrong. Is it a good idea? Financially, yes. For the product's sake, probably not. No, I mean, it's weird to have football on a Wednesday. Now that the calendar lines up appropriately more for an NFL schedule, yeah, you're going to have Christmas games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if they need to do that, but they probably will because families are hanging out together and it makes sense to put some football on.
Sure. I didn't watch any of it really. Like
Okay.
I didn't watch it. I watched a little bit of Chiefs Texans at the beginning, or not Chiefs Steelers at the beginning.
Steelers.
And then listen to it on the way home. And then once Russ threw the pick six or not the pick six, just Russ through the end zone, the interception in the end zone. I'm like, all right, Chiefs are going to win this one. And then I watched the Ravens literally run away with the game against the Texans, but I turned it on for Beyonce and not the actual game. So there you go.
Oh my God.
What?
The hell's wrong with you?
Scale of it was amazing.
Yeah, from what I saw, it actually was pretty well done.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally I'm not a big defender of Beyonce. I think she kind of just, to be honest, the performance has been the same for years. It's just the same stuff.
Oh, you can't say that.
But the scale of it is different every time. And that was massive. It's not like you're not going to watch the individual perform. You're going to watch what is going to happen more around the individual and what she's going to do with a bunch of it. And then Jesse's telling me through the thing that she's very meticulous in how she sets all that stuff up. I was like, man, whoever choreographed all of this really deserves a lot of credit. And she's like, I think she did, bet. And that kind of thing.
That's how Jesse talks?
Yeah, I think she did, babe. Sad inflection. I think she did, babe.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway, I thought the scale was pretty cool. Although Beyonce's performance, I think, really showed. God, Post Malone's voice sucks, doesn't it?
I wasn't really paying attention, to be honest.
His voice is not good. It's really.
Did he not have that auto tune accompanying him?
He did, but it just. I've watched him. I've seen him live twice, and each time he's been too drunk to sing the slow songs because he was at a festival. But he could put on a show when it's his older hip hop stuff, the country stuff. His voice is not good. His voice is really not good. But again, the scale of it was pretty impressive, remarkable. Had to check on my cousin because my cousin Katie, all the way from England, is obsessed with Beyonce and Post Malone, more so Post Malone. But I mean, she's been to both their concerts since they went to England. And I also think this speaks to something the NFL did wrong. I think this is what the NFL got wrong about this day compared to the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. Because you said that it wasn't going to get 65 million concurrent streams. I said one of those games has to get 65 million at the same time. Because that's what Jake Paul, Mike Tyson hit at their peak. 65 million global. But the thing is, that fight was in the evening. And that's more suited for people around the world. By the time that the Chiefs were playing, 1:30 is when they started, right? Pacific time?
No, 10 a.m.
10 or excuse me, the Ravens in Texas.
Yes, that started at 1:30.
1:30, 10 o'clock, 1:30. 10 o'clock, you probably might be able to watch it if you live around the world. But at 1:30, I mean, it's 9:30 when you're in England. You're not going to be waiting however long just to watch Beyonce. You might say, I'm going to go hang out with the family or fall asleep and then watch it the morning after. So I think the NFL made a mistake by putting these games in the morning as opposed to the evening.
How dare you?
They would have had they would have had much bigger numbers, I think, if they actually made this a night game as opposed to a morning and afternoon, as if it's just a regular Sunday.
Well, the NFL wanted to be nice to the families that are.
Shut up. The NFL was just giving. It's Christmas.
Yeah, come on, man. They're nice people in the league office. No,
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
But
And it's also mostly like everyone in the chat here is like, think I'm being serious. Look, I get it. I love football. It's a little too much at times. 100%. I agree with you guys. Do I love football being on? Absolutely. Do I like good football? Yes. Was that good football? No. I mean, the Chiefs, they just don't fucking lose, and the Ravens are a superior team to the Texans right now. So it wasn't much of a contest in both games. Like, quickly, just to go over both of them. Chiefs, I'm pissed off. They're gonna get the number 1 seed again. I mean, they clinched it. So, goddamn. Like, now we'll take the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens to go into Arrowhead and beat them, and I have serious doubts about that. I mean, like, think about it. In a regular season, like back when it was 16 games, this would be one of the best regular seasons of all time. 15-1, coming off of a Super Bowl win, back-to-back Super Bowl wins. It felt like a cakewalk. This team didn't score more than 30 points the whole fucking season. And were they better than last year? Yeah. I mean, they got more offensive firepower with Xavier Worthy and Marquise Hollywood Brown just coming back now to get trading for DeAndre Hopkins. Defensively, they've been solid since last year. But do I think there's some kind of juggernaut like they've been better than in years past? No, they just find a way to win games. It's insane. As far as the Steelers, God, what the hell's going on? I thought this defense was one of the best, if not the best in football. And right now they're having a hard time stopping anybody. I mean, the last 3 weeks they played really good teams.
There's also something weird going on with that team. I looked into it, and I think there was Cam Hayward who called out
I saw this quote.
One guy individually saying like we got 10 guys putting an effort and one who's not. You got Steelers fans literally trying to dissect it. Like they looked at like what TJ Watt said after the game, and they're trying to investigate. They're turning into Charlie Day, looking into the Pepe Sylvia type set.
Pepe Sylvia. Who is this? Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, Joey Porter
Carroll. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to find out who this culprit is. But I'm going to stick with my point from last week, and I'm going to steal from the great Stu Gatz from Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz when he was talking about the Patriots. Or was it Tom Brady? I can't remember which one. Don't bet against the Chiefs. AJ, Chiefs are bastards. They're going to fall hard. You said that last week.
I don't know.
AJ, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Just accept it. That's like Derek's saying, accept the NFL on Christmas Day. We just have to accept it. And AJ, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be Mr. Right. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to get into an argument. AJ, I'm saying this because I care about you and I care about the people that listen. Just accept it. Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, they're going to three-peat.
Yeah, I think so. And also I'm going all over the map, Derek. I'm hyped.
Well, just real quick, I can't definitively say that because I just want to see who they match up against in the Super Bowl. This is me just having just fool's hope that the Bills can knock them off. I really hope so, but I have my doubts. The Bills didn't look great a week ago against the Patriots. They, had a great performance offensively against the Lions and against the Rams back-to-back weeks, but that defense really stunk. So, I don't know.
They wasted it. They wasted their one win against the Chiefs in the regular season.
I know. They always do this.
It's just when we could think the Ravens, but then all of a sudden Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are going to come back to life. Speaking of which, they did produce my favorite moment of that day, at least from sports.
And that was the cake.
The post-game Christmas cake. And of course, Netflix promoting all of their shit. Is It Cake, the show where it's like, whoa, is it a toolbox or is it a cake? Let's find out.
Yeah, doesn't Mikey Day host that show?
Yeah. Yeah,
that seems like an SNL sketch where they would make fun of that shit.
It's very cringy, but money talks, right? Shout out to Netflix. But here's this is my favorite moment because we've all been there where we're at like a family dinner and or something, and someone's offering you food and you just do not want to eat any of it. Like Lamar and Derrick Henry really got into the spirit of Christmas with this one.
It's with royal colors. Oh, and you got your teammates too, Isaiah Likely and Zay Flowers. Look at these guys.
I gonna see y'all boy live.
They got to go to the locker room. And then we also got you these Netflix custom Christmas cakes. Now, who's going to bite into this thing first, huh?
I'll do that. I'm good.
You know what? You can actually break them apart. Can you break them apart and show everybody that it is a cake? Take this stand off here.
Red velvet?
Does that mean you want to try it?
Nah.
I'm going to take a bite, Derek. I won't tell anybody, even though you want to have a chicken breast.
El, man, watch out. You better watch out, man. Go ahead, El. I'm good.
One bite. No one's going to take a single bite. Do I have to?
You do it.
I have to?
Yes, please. How was it?
It's delicious. Come on.
El, you can take one piece, bro.
I'm
One
full.
piece.
One piece, bro. I need to eat real food.
Come on.
And dessert. Okay.
This is delicious. Netflix Christmas game day, everybody. The custom Christmas.
So Derek Henry's just terrified of carbs, and then Lamar Jackson is like, I'm full. He's just trying to think of any excuse.
But I'm with him, man. After like exercising for like 3 hours and running around, having a 48-yard touchdown run, I want some real food than cake. It's gonna make me shit my pants.
Absolutely. But it's funny that he's trying to come up with every excuse in the book.
I'm
so he
full.
can be polite. I'm full.
Well, you know what? I would say to like TV networks, you got to stop forcing food on these players because sometimes they don't want to eat it. Like, Thanksgiving, turkey, okay, that's protein. But even some guys, like I remember, I forget who it was, like Adam Thielen. I want to say like a couple of years ago, he bit into the turkey and he was like, and then just like spit it out at me. And he was like, that was not good.
Yeah.
So like, just because they're doing your interview doesn't mean they have to eat the food that you made or some promotional thing because Netflix does a cake show.
Yeah, I know, but it's hilarious. Like,
Also,
even the 49ers eating the turkey leg. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but
Yeah, I
when all
remember
those players went on, and
Bosa.
Brock Purdy's eating it. That Bosa obviously refused.
No,
and
thanks.
Then you could see in the background, you could see Bosa ask Purdy how it is, and you could see Purdy go dry as he's chomping on that, like Clark Griswold's chomping on the family turkey from Christmas Vacation.
Also, I love Iron Eagle and I love Noah Eagle. The Iron Eagle joke. Did you see this when he was back on camera with J.J. Watt and Noah and Nate Burleson? And he was like, I bet the Netflix audience is asking themselves, when did the kids of Stranger Things grow up?
Yeah, that was a reach.
Yeah. It's like, we get it. Netflix is doing NFL games. It's kind of...
Well, come on,
It's
dude.
enough.
They got paid a lot to do that. I would
I know.
sell my soul to do that.
Oh, believe me, they went all out. Like that, what was it? The pregame show was Kay Adams, Robert Griffin, Manti Te'o, and Mina Kimes. And then, Greg Olson on one of them. I mean, Greg Olson's great, but even he kind of was like, he didn't have his best A game. It was kind of like on a short week, and he was like, I'm just going to...
Well, he's also never worked with Noah Eagle before. It's like, you gotta, not much rapport, right?
But that's a good pairing that I would love to see on Amazon Prime in the future.
Yeah, Noah's really good, dude.
No, he's very good. He's very good.
He is super good at his job. And the way, even like back to the week before, because he was on the call for the Texans on Saturday, the way he was able to handle the Tank Dell injury, I thought he did a really commendable job. So he's obviously got a bright future. It's just so funny that like Iron Eagle births a child and he births like an all-time sportscaster. like a guy who seemingly is going to be like the next Joe Buck. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. What else from the and you spoke of Mina Kimes. I got to be honest, being a Lebitard guy, I'm like, I feel so much pride watching Mina do her thing because Lebitard was like the first one to really put her on the air and give her like a platform because she came from investigative journalism. Then she started writing for ESPN magazine, but he was really the first one that kind of got her into doing media, doing stuff on radio and then television. So she started on Lebitard's show, clearly knew what she was talking about with the NFL, was a diehard fan. She grew up a huge Seahawks fan. And then she worked her way up slowly but surely, working her way up the ESPN ladder. And then on Christmas Day on Netflix, she is the top analyst who seems to be more knowledgeable than Manti Te'o and Robert Griffin. Robert Griffin just gives good analysis, but sometimes it's like you're trying really hard, man. Like just
let's be real.
Tone it down a little bit.
not good analysis, good analogies. He loves like making references to something else where you're like, all right, you're just trying to go viral, buddy.
Yeah, like, now he's making those videos where you got like the thumbnail where it shows him in the picture and it's like him smiling. It's like my top 5 quarterback runs of all time, that kind of thing. It's a lot.
Or him like, he knows what he's doing when he's trying to deep throat a croissant or rub his face in a velvet cake. We know what you're doing, Robert Griffin, okay?
Yeah, it's a lot. So it feels like with Mina Kimes, it's authentic. She does this daily. She really, really studies hard and grinds through game tape. She's like a total nerd when it comes to this stuff, as she is a self-described nerd. So it's really cool seeing her like get that job. I felt like I was telling Jesse, I was like, do you see that? Do you see her? Like, it's like I was watching like I don't like a music artist that you kind of discover when they 50,000 views on Spotify or something like that, or 50,000 listens, and then now they have like millions. Yeah, that's how it feels watching Mina Kimes. So shout out to her. That was awesome.
So you're a Mina Kimes hipster.
Oh yeah, big time.
No, man, she's great, and she definitely knows her shit. Take that, Jeff Garcia. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, seriously, I remember when he came on with Steiny and Guru. He just went off the feed. He just went off the map after that interview with Steiny and Guru.
Yeah,
you still think he playing, Steiny?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I understand Netflix going all out, and yeah, at the end of the day, they did a good product. I mean, it was like the games weren't great, but like the broadcast was very well done.
Yes.
So I'm sure we'll see more of that in the future because the NFL wants to get into streaming. But let's talk about the best sporting event of the night. It was LeBron James versus Steph Curry. That was a fantastic game. And I was frustrated for the most part because the Warriors, besides Steph, didn't really do much. Kuminga, he had a great dunk over, who was it, Max Christie and Rui Hachimura, and then followed it up doing the same shit that Steve Kerr told him not to do by, doing a contested shot that clanked, and then the Lakers went around and stuck a 3 in their face. And yeah, I mean, but Steph Curry and LeBron, like, I heard Bill Simmons talk about this the other night. This is a good thing for the NBA and a bad thing for the NBA, because this is the thing that the NBA is still holding on to, is Steph Curry and LeBron James late into their 30s still being the only reason that most of America tune in. We need more stars. Victor Wembanyama, great player, was put on earlier in the day against New York, and overall, Steph and LeBron got a 7.7, whatever it was in ratings. The other games didn't do very well. And that's just the product of the NBA right now. It's down 48%. And the problem is maybe it's because, I could care less, but maybe too many foreign stars, guys that just don't stand out anymore. Regardless of all that, it was a fantastic game for the Warriors and Lakers. And yeah, this ending was terrible. Anthony Davis only plays 7 minutes, and you got Rui Hachimura playing the 5, and Christian Coloco, not to be confused with the lovely Kaylee Cuoco, playing the 5, and they're doing fine. And I hated the ending. I mean, Steph he went off in that fourth quarter, scoring 17 points. The threes he was hitting was incredible. And you're like, he's going to pull the win out of his ass. This is just like the game last year where they went to like double OT and Steph hit a 3. And then LeBron James gets fouled right at the end and they lose like 145 to 143. And then Austin Reeves has a layup and Andrew Wiggins didn't get physical enough. And then Jonathan Kuminga is just sitting under the rim doing nothing. It pissed me off.
I think it really, like, we can look at the final plays and, especially that last one with the Austin Reeves layup, Jonathan Kuminga not rotating to help, Andrew Wiggins not being able to guard him one-on-one, that white boy one-on-one, and had the left-handed layup to end it. I know that the white boy thing was a little bit of a shot, but the
sounds like it,
but not at Austin Reeves. But I think that that spoke to a much larger issue, kind of similar to Bill Simmons' point. I hadn't heard that it's a problem for the NBA, and I agree with him because like they are still hanging on to the Steph and LeBron thing. It really felt like the NBA was trying to like transition. It was kind of like these teams of the future, like this. Excuse me, Spurs and Knicks, Wembanyama, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, like those teams are meant to be contending for a long time. Then you obviously had the Timberwolves and Mavericks, Luka versus Anthony Edwards. And then you had them celebrate the present. You had Celtics versus 76ers, defending champs. I think they expected the 76ers to be a lot better than they have been this season. But at the end of the day, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George have only played, before that, actually entering into that game, 5 times together all season. Just 5, because, a rotation of them. We'll take Maxey out of the equation. Either Paul George or Joel Embiid were hurt or not playing. So they haven't played much together this season. And then you're celebrating the past with LeBron James and Steph Curry. And then the Suns and Nuggets are slowly but surely kind of becoming a thing of the past as well. So it felt like they were celebrating the future, the present, and the past with that game. But kind of like
the ghosts of Christmas.
Exactly, but the opposite. That was that was bars. I was spitting bars Christmas Day.
There you go.
But but the point being, the way that the NBA is still kind of hanging on to that, it's similar to how the Warriors are just hanging on to Steph.
Yeah.
Like, you should not have been in that position. Not when LeBron is missing out on Anthony Davis. LeBron got his second scorer. He got the thing that Steph Curry still hasn't gotten with the Warriors in the past couple of years. And they didn't have him. They didn't have him for a large majority of the game. You can't be in a situation where you need Steph Curry to will them to a comeback with a historic fourth quarter performance on Christmas. I think 17 points is like the most fourth quarter points scored on a Christmas Day game or something like that.
Damn.
Could be wrong. But making threes left and right, I think that one to pull them within one was kind of just a prayer, and he just happened to make it. I think he was kind of surprised by that.
That's Steph.
But that is Steph, right? But the point being, we could talk about whether Steve Kerr should have played this player or sat this player, blah, 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 what the defensive rotation should have been. But at the end of the day, they should have been able to beat that Lakers team when they didn't have Anthony Davis, and they shouldn't have needed Steph to do what he did. Like, the Warriors can't be at that point anymore. But I think that it shows you not much has changed. Much has changed with this team at the end of the day. They got off to a hot start. The NBA kind of figured them out. They slowed down, and now look at them. The big thing with Warriors now, with that Warriors fan base, I guess that one dude, Jim Park, who's kind of like the Warriors version of Grant Cohn, except he doesn't have any credentials or any I don't know what he does, really. He just complains about the Warriors a lot on
I haven't
Twitter.
heard of this guy at all.
Yeah. He's pretty popular. And I mean, he's got like 10,000 followers or something. Is
he a big Fire Steve Kerr guy?
Huge. And his whole thing is, why isn't Kyle Anderson playing? And it's just I'm very confused at all of that. But I just don't think this roster's suited right now to where good Lord. Getting choked up.
Yeah, you shouldn't be eating cookies while you're talking.
I know, right? But this roster is just not suited to win right now, and I think it's kind of on the Warriors. It's not really so much on Steve Kerr, but a little bit of it is. It just sucks that we are hearing the exact same thing. It's like deja vu over the last 2 years.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're coming up from the anniversary when Jonathan Kuminga called out Steve Kerr in the Athletics, saying, I have no faith in Steve Kerr coaching me anymore. I think we're only a matter of weeks, maybe a month away from them trading him. You have to believe there's going to be some type of urgency, especially when Steph Curry does an interview with Malika Andrews the day on Christmas. They taped it before, but him just saying, I'm desperately trying to win now. And there's never going to be a point where Steph says, I want out. I don't want to be here anymore. I can't see that happening because he has all the luxury in the world that LeBron James has right now with the Lakers. I don't see LeBron ever leaving the Lakers. I think he's going to finish his career with the Lakers because they give him everything. They try to. They drafted his son. They got him the coach he wanted. Same thing with Steph. Whatever he wants, he gets. They try to get Paul George. They try to get Larry Marketing. They attempted a bid for Karl Anthony Towns. It all didn't pan out. And at this time last year, I was telling you that I thought they should have sold everybody and gone with Steph Curry in a rebuild. But there's no chance in hell that Joe Lacob's going to do that. So they went all in. They gave him another contract extension, put 1 year on left to give him a 3-year deal. Steve Kerr's around for 2 more years. They're going to try to maximize the end of Steph Curry's career with the Warriors. So what does that mean? Go out and get Jimmy Butler? I don't know. I mean, that sounds like a weird situation right now with the Miami Heat, where he says he preferred to be traded, and then Pat Riley, the day after Christmas, puts out a statement saying we're not trading Jimmy Butler. So, I mean, which I thought was ridiculous, which pretty much says to me that he didn't get what he wanted yet. So he's still looking for someone to give him what he wants in a trade. And right now for the Warriors, that would be, I mean, more than just Wiggins and Kuminga. Like I did the salary thing yesterday with the NBA trade machine. You would need Kuminga, Wiggins, GP2, and Kyle Anderson, and a couple of draft picks to make that move. And just to get Jimmy Butler in return, maybe get, I don't know, you would know better than me, Steven, if this guy's worth a damn. Nikola Jovic, the guy that the Jokic kind of look alike that's on the Miami Heat. Is he even worth a damn to play a stretch five for them?
Not so much that if that's what you need to bring in Jimmy Butler, no.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, and then Bobby Marks says, like, I don't even know if the Miami Heat are gonna move him unless Jimmy Butler makes a scene. So I don't know how you fix the Warriors. I really don't. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I've been on the radio the last 2 days trying to come up with solutions, and I don't have an answer. The truth is, they're just kind of fucked right now. Like, this is the product of them winning 4 championships, and now they're, they want to get Steph one last one, but the truth is no one wants to help them. The Warriors were running circles around the whole NBA for years, and right now the league's telling them to fuck off. They don't want to help them. Figure it out your own way. You got to build from within. You got to draft. Figure it out with the 30-year-old guys you have in Steph and Draymond. You might add another 35-year-old guy in Jimmy Butler. I don't know. I don't have any answers. Lauri Markkanen would have made sense, but it sounds like that was never going to happen. Danny Ainge was not going to move him, so I don't know what the answer is. Go ahead, trade for Jimmy Butler. I don't know if it's going to make you a top 5 team in the West. I really don't.
Nah, there's not really much that can be done. They're going to have to make some sort of drastic, desperate move if they want to do anything. And you are probably going to be costing yourself the long-term future. But we said this last year, Derek. We've been saying this since last season. They're going to have to do something that people aren't expecting. You're going to have to trade players who might be taking up some of your future. You're going to have to willing to risk whatever it takes to get somebody else, to bring whoever in. But I don't really think there's much out there right now. Again, Jimmy Butler's one guy. I just don't see that as the winning formula here. I think the Miami Heat are a very well coached team. I have not seen much of them this season, but Jimmy Butler, I think he's done as much as he could with those Miami Heat teams. I don't know if the Warriors would get back to where we want them to get if he were to join the team. I don't know who you trade for. I don't know which teams would be willing to give up their players, because at the end of the day, too, the Warriors are just a middle of the road team right now. You're probably going to be a playing team again. Who knows? Maybe you'll even be an 11 seed when it's all said and done this year, because you just keep on, like, that starts of the season, I really think kind of masked a lot of what the Warriors' issues are. I mean, who would have thought that DeAnthony Melton's injury would change the whole trajectory of the entire season? It's pretty crazy to think about. But, and also, what happened to Buddy Hield? Like, he makes threes every now and then, but he was going off at the beginning, and I haven't heard anything about Buddy Hield really since he was off to that hot start.
Well, Kings fans are telling us now that's just the cycle of Buddy Hield.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Shout out to Michael Connell.
Yes, he has the graphic to show.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he really has. He made a graphic.
He had like a whole like cycle of Buddy Hield where it's like starts out hot, then everyone thinks he's great, then he starts missing threes, then he starts shutting the media because everyone thinks he's against him, then gets traded.
Beautiful. Then gets traded. That's not even a cycle. That's just like that's it's so messed up. But no, I to be honest, man, I'm kind of done with trying to fix the Warriors. I was made really sad in the lead up to the Warriors Lakers. Like, Steph talking about retirement. It's okay to acknowledge that this could be coming to an end. LeBron James doing that same thing. I heard a little bit of Steiny and Evan today, and, they're talking about where this stacks up among all-time great NBA rivalries. And I think Steiny's a great person to speak on that. Evan is super knowledgeable as well. But for me, like, I can't really compare because each rivalry has kind of defined the generation. And I think this Steph Curry and LeBron James one did. And it gave us some of the most entertaining basketball that we've ever witnessed. Like, I don't think we're in our sports lives going to see something like those 4 straight finals with the Cavs and the Warriors, where you know that it's going to be those two meeting once again. Like the villain stuff, the the quickie shirt from Draymond during the championship parade, Draymond getting hammered and you know, saying, "We won, yeah, they suck, yeah." You know, like they like, I don't know, man. I've been just, I was very existential, I guess, when talking about those things. And Ernie, what? Just because he's seen so many games, Steven Steiny's not that old, but he's at least been there for like the rise.
Yeah, he's
of
pretty old. He's pretty old.
Yeah, he is too. He should be coming on the pod at some point soon. I talked to him earlier today. He said no at first, and then he's just doing the Steiny thing where he's just trying to act all hard in the beginning, and then, you know, eventually he caved. He's like, all right, I'll come on the podcast and all that sort of stuff.
Nah, I'm good. We already had him on in the past. I'm good.
I would like to hear his thoughts on the whole thing, but it defined what our generation is. And also, I think the fact that LeBron even had like a player rival, I think also kind of adds to the Michael Jordan kind of greatest of all time argument, because Michael Jordan didn't really have like a player rivalry. It was Michael Jordan
team rivalry with the Pistons, but yeah, I hear
it
you.
was the Michael Jordan versus the NBA thing in his prime, though. And
yeah.
Like, he just stopped a bunch of superstars from getting their championships. LeBron didn't really do that in this generation. So I guess if anything, that kind of adds to that argument. But for me, I mean, Steph and LeBron were just an unreal, just, I got really sad in the lead up to that. I'm like, God, it really is coming to an end.
Nothing will ever be like that again in the NBA, because now we get like what we grew up with NBA finals wise. Every now, you know, like, you know, a little more, you know, different teams, you know, like it's, you know, it's not the same. Like when you and I were working at 95.7 together, it was pretty much set in stone. We were expecting the Warriors to go to the finals every year to face LeBron James, the Cavaliers. And it was awesome. We got to cover that. And it was unlike anything we've ever seen before, the drama around that. But I mean, like now, you know, the Dallas Mavericks play the Boston Celtics. The Miami Heat play the Denver Nuggets. It's just not the same. And I don't think we'll ever get back to that point again.
No, because you have two generational superstars who changed the NBA in their own respective ways. I mean,
not even just Steph and LeBron. Think about like all the stars that the Warriors made in those finals with Draymond and Clay, and then Kevin Durant joined. And what I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. Just a 4-year stretch where those Hall of Famers were facing off against each other. And to add to LeBron's argument of being the greatest of all time, it took Clay, it took Draymond, it took Steph, it took Kevin Durant, all of them to come together to beat that one guy 3 times.
Exactly.
2 for KD.
Yeah, exactly. Knowing that dude from the Mavericks who just passed up Reggie Miller to make it to 5th on the all-time 3-point list, Steph, then Draymond in their primes, and Kevin Durant all together on the same team just to take down the Thanos of the NBA in LeBron. And the fact that they were able to join each other, or at least KD was able to join them, is because that's what LeBron created with the decision to go to the Miami Heat. I mean, how does it get better than that?
And it was, you know, the 3-1 lead, Warriors blew it. It was devastating. Most fans, I mean, like, actually, you know what? Most NBA fans love the Warriors back then, so that was fine. Then they get Kevin Durant, and then it's like, can we root for this team anymore? They get their revenge. It was great, and it was just poetic. It was fantastic. Nothing will ever compare to that, ever.
No, man. No, not when they were at the peak of their powers, too.
Yeah.
God. And then you got, I mean, I'm just mentioning those guys. That's not to mention, you know, Andre Iguodala, who obviously won Finals MVP, and Kevin Durant winning another 2. And then you just had the Warriors go off and win one in 2022 when nobody expected it.
That was a Lifetime Achievement Award, like I always said.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a little bit. You know, that's like Jamie Lee Curtis winning Best Supporting Actress.
Yes.
You know, she
Very well, I mean, you still say they should have. Like it's like like Sean Connery winning Best Supporting Actor for The Untouchables. Is it fantastic? No, but it's well deserved.
You hold a knife, he holds a gun.
Oh, you're mucking with a real G here. And going back to Rocket New Era, what he said, not a top 5. I mean, like with the Warriors right now, not a top 5, but something needs to change. Could be worse. Could be the Kings. Yeah. Man, Greg Silver was telling me about what happened last night. I did not pay attention to the Kings' loss to the Detroit Pistons, but God, that press conference where Mike Brown goes through everything wrong with the team, and then DeAndre Fox is like, "It is what it is."
Yeah. You can't say in public what I really want to say out here.
And then Mike Brown basically holding court today saying, "I've been around great players, great coaches. Some of the best players know how to take accountability." And then he like kind of owns up and said, "Yeah, I'm kind of talking about DeAndre Fox here, or De'Aaron Fox." And then they have like a heart-to-heart in the middle of practice. And then, kind of like Matt Eberflus, before they board the plane, they fire him. And look, was the season going well for the Kings? Absolutely not. But they signed him to a contract. They were going in the right direction. Play in last year. What were they, the 3rd seed 2 years ago when they lost to the Warriors? I would have let it play out a little bit longer with Mike Brown. Now, I love Doug Christie. That's my guy. But I would not have fired Mike Brown. I think that's a bad, bad move.
Yeah, and it's a scapegoat situation. It feels like it's a scapegoat situation. Sir, they're 13-18 this year and just had a really bad loss. And there's probably some infighting in that locker room where some people told Vivek Ramaswamy, look, you got to get rid of this guy. We're just not clicking. And things weren't working. Or Vivek Ramaswamy. Jesus Christ.
What to say?
Ranadive. Vivek Ranadive. I'm a sports reporter, but I'm also working in all news. So, you know.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
I was looking at that flyer. I was like, I'll give you a look like,
Yeah, you know, the guy who co-hosts the podcast with Elon Musk. Yeah, that guy who owns the Sacramento Kings. That guy.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that's a premature move. Way too early.
Doing that on the way to the plane, man.
That's lame. Like he has his like. Can you like? I didn't get all of the details, but if he had his luggage in hand and they were like, "Hold on, Mike, that's fucking cold." Like, come on.
I know he's a hard ass as a head coach, but
as he should be.
But I really, whenever we had him on weekly on 95.7, and I obviously didn't participate in those interviews, but was able to listen to him. Like, he just seemed, when he's not a head coach, he just seemed like the coolest guy to be around, like the coolest of the assistant coaches. And I know, like, it seemed like Draymond kind of took a thinly veiled shot at him by talking about how Jerry Stackhouse is preaching more accountability for the Warriors defense.
Yeah.
That was a shot at Mike Brown, but like, dude, he just seems like such a good guy. So I hate to see this happen to someone who appears to be one of the good dudes in the NBA. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of my favorite press conferences of all time involve him, where he on his way as acting Warriors head coach when Steve was, doing his thing with this, or doing his thing, had problems with his back. He, got pulled over by the cops, which was like, I'm not even gonna go into that one. That was terrible. But like him, like explaining it to like the police officers, like driving in, he's like, acting Warriors head coach. Like that whole situation was hilarious. And then Greg Popovich passing him in the car, just like waving to him, having fun with him. And then just like the past year or so, when he was named Kings head coach, and someone screaming in the background, and you saw all of his teeth going ah. He screams back at him. He's just a fun guy. So I feel bad for Mike Brown, but I'm sure. I don't know about another head coaching gig because this is 3 of them now.
Yeah,
for him, the Cavs, Lakers, and Kings. I don't know if he'll get a 4th opportunity. He probably should, but I will welcome back on the Warriors. But I don't really know a spot for him right now because who's my guy with the Terry Stotts and Jerry Stackhouse are doing a fantastic job. So the team's not doing well, but you're not going to replace them for Mike Brown right now. So.
Take a year off, man. Just take the rest of the year off.
Or be an analyst. Be an analyst on TV. He'd be great at it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I know we're probably going to move on, but I do want to just bring this up. Did you see that thing, NBA on ESPN? Playoff seeding. This has been talked about for a while now, but
Changing it?
ridding the NBA of the conferences, and instead of going the top 8 in the East and West, it's just going to be the top 16. I think
No,
that's what
we have to have some, like, we can't just, that's a drastic change. And
yeah.
there has to be tradition to this thing where it's Western Conference versus Eastern Conference.
Okay. Mr. NFL can come in on Christmas Day and take over because they want to and break tradition. Now you're Mr. Tradition when it comes to the Eastern and Western.
When it comes to playoffs, absolutely.
Why?
Steven, do you really want to change this?
Yes.
Why?
Because it would make for a more competitive playoff product, in my opinion.
I can't deny that, but I can't go against. This is the whole, like, fine. You get away with divisions in NBA. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. The best teams in the conference, that's cool with me. But to get away with the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, no, like that's just part of sports. That's what we're used to.
Yeah, but it's been decades of the West just being much better than the East. Why would you want to keep the top 8 in the East and top 8 in the West?
The hell was that?
That was my automatic cat feeder.
All right. No, I don't like that idea at all. And I don't like the changes. I don't like, because I'm a traditional man, even though I love the NFL ruining the NBA's holiday.
Okay. Yeah.
But no.
And sure, Ernie, the 1 versus 16 would suck. It would be a crappy matchup, but at the end of the day, like, the number 1 seed would have a better advantage of reaching into the playoffs, getting into the playoffs. And you're seeing this now more than ever, where the West is just that much better in the East. Now, you didn't really see it last year because the top 8 teams in the East, I think they were tied at least with like the 9th through 16 teams in the West last year. But this year, I think it's trending towards where teams from the West that don't make it into the playoffs would have made it into the playoffs if they actually played in the Eastern Conference.
I hear you, but I'm just
it's not gonna happen, because why would the Eastern Conference owners agree to that? There's no way they could get 8 of them to agree to that, because this favors the East. This format favors the Eastern Conference.
Oh, of course, but at the same time, so we're doing away with the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals. So basically, in the end, the top 2 seeds face off in the NBA Finals.
Potentially. Why not? Do you not want the 2 best teams facing each other in the finals, regardless of conference?
No. There has to be some tradition in that way. I want to see the West play the East.
Look at the WNBA. WNBA don't have no conferences, and it works. It was a great playoffs this year.
Okay, but what were their ratings?
As high as they've ever been.
Were they that good in comparison to everything else in the grand scheme of sports?
Oh, good God, Derek. Now you're going to give me the ratings crap.
I would.
At the end of the day, it was fun to watch. And this year's playoffs, how much fun did we have watching that? We didn't enjoy it. I think this move would work. I think it would.
I'm not in favor of it.
And I think you would grow to like it. I think you would.
Nope.
I think you would.
I would hate it.
It would not happen for a while. Again, like, it would have to be 8 in the West.
Because then all anarchy would happen, where every sport would try to do this. The NFL and MLB. No, just leave it the way it is, damn it.
The NFL's king, Derek. Why would they care about what other sports are doing?
You're right, Steven. By the way, I didn't get your whole thing with me sending me the like I'm Stringer Bell trying to make everybody convinced that the NFL is the best product out there, whether it's heroin or not.
Come on, man. It's funny.
It wasn't bad, actually.
It's a really funny comparison. Look, if the heroin's worse, Fiend's going to want more of it.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
True.
You know you liked it.
Speaking of football, let's go back to that real quick with the Raiders. We're not going to get a Derek Carr revenge game.
It's a shame.
Which is, very disappointing. In fact, prepare for this, Raider fans. Raiders are favored. They might even win against this terrible Saints team. Who's playing? Spencer Rattler? Is he starting?
He has to be. You're not going to put Jake Haney in there.
Be prepared. Be prepared.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Haney.
Sorry, Julie.
Be prepared. Be prepared for the Raiders to win this game. They shouldn't, but who am I to tell them to lay down? Regardless, I do think Antonio Pierce will be fired when the season ends, and you're hearing a little bit more about Mike Vrabel getting in the mix for head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I forget who had I think it's Brian Cause, who covers the Jets. There's been a lot of traction or fan, push to get Mike Vrabel be the head coach of the New York Jets. He's saying that he's been hearing in league circles that Mike Vrabel is expected to become the eye or the apple of the Raiders' eye when it comes to head coaches. So that could be on the horizon. And also, I want to play a little bit of this. Now, I think it's going to happen. But can we play a little bit of Max Crosby on his podcast, last episode? Listen to him speak about his future with the Raiders a little bit.
Of inconsistency, you know what I mean? It's new coaches every other year and this and this and that and new teammates. And there's been plenty of times where I'm like, damn, like this D-line is cold. And then I come back and every single one of them's gone. You know what I mean? And it's like, what the you know what I mean? And then it just, there's on and on and on. There's a lot of things. So it's just like, it's tough, bro, because I feel for Miles because he's in that same boat.
So he's talking about Myles Garrett and how he may want to move on next season.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like my contract situation, like I have no more guaranteed money. There's a lot of different things. Like obviously, there's gonna be a lot of things that need to be talked about, and I'm looking forward to those conversations. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Like I'm really looking forward to this offseason, the process, and I will say, like on top of it, like the Raider fans have been dope and I love them to death. Like that's one thing through everything. Like the fans have truly since day one, like embraced me and being in their corner. And I think it's been the dopest shit. Like even with my injuries and all the shit, like the support has been like the coolest shit ever. And so, yeah, there's so many different things that got to be talked about. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
A couple things there. What's the point of having a podcast if you're going to bleep out your fucks?
I don't think that was him that was bleeping it out. I don't know who else was doing it.
But when you listen to the podcast, I remember a year ago when I listened to the interview with Antonio Pierce where he said he had the Mahomes rules, they bleeped that out.
Really?
Yeah, it was very annoying to listen to that.
Huh.
Also,
it reminds me of when Draymond started the podcast and was swearing every other word, and then Bob Myers joined us on 95.7 the next day after that aired, and he basically said, yeah, we need to keep those swear words to a minimum. Then Draymond didn't swear on his podcast after that ever again, except for a few words. That was pretty funny.
Look at Bob. Yeah. Also, Max Crosby, not offering a lot there.
What was
I'm looking to have more shit when I talk about this shit with the Raiders. It's good shit.
I don't really get why this made the rounds. Like, to me, this was
I didn't either. I didn't either. I mean, listening to that again in full context, he's referring to Myles Garrett. And the Myles Garrett thing is just he wants to know that the Browns are going to be competitive next year. And I'm assuming that, that kind of came into play a little bit today when Deshaun Watson decided to restructure his contract, but not really restructure it in a good way for next season. It's complicated as fuck. Regardless, Deshaun Watson's going to be your quarterback of the Browns next season, and good luck to them, which may lead to Myles Garrett, requesting a trade. I have no idea. But yeah, I saw that, and my reaction to that is it's the same thing I've heard Max Crosby say every offseason. So my expectation is he's going to be on this football team, and he can, at one point get pissed off if they don't get the quarterback that they want and complain and try to get a trade. They ain't trading Max Crosby. He ain't going nowhere. So I saw this. I think one of the Ernie's sent it to us, and it's good content, but at the same time, I just don't think that it's going to lead to anything.
I had this sent not only from the Ernie's, but I also had this sent from my brother. I had this sent from Spadoni. I had this, obviously you sent it over so we could play it on the podcast. This would be a perfect opportunity for me to try and use this to build on the point that I had before the season. Like, what will Max Crosby think of all this? I'm even concerned for his future now when we were talking about Devontae Adams. But even this one, I can't tell you like, oh yeah, that validates the point that I had early in the season. Guy wants more guaranteed money. He doesn't have any left over, and he's looking forward to the contract negotiations in the offseason. He doesn't strike me as a Khalil Mack type where they're just going to act like they don't have the cash to pay him. Well, we don't have the cash in escrow right
Yeah,
now.
they'll restructure and
Like
get more money.
they've also been making money hand over fist with this new Vegas stadium. They're a very highly valued team, and also Mark Davis is owner of the Aces, who were back-to-back NBA champions or WNBA champions, who have also been making a lot of money. So they're going to be able to pay Max Crosby, and I think that if Mike Vrabel comes over as the head coach, I think those two would mesh perfectly.
Absolutely.
I think those two have the same mindset, the same demeanor, both football guys, both extremely tough. He's going to love that work ethic that Max Crosby had. I'm not worried about that. That clip was a nothing burger to me. This is a problem with athletes doing podcasts all the time because they have to say something. And someone is going to post something that they say. They might post it out of context, and then you're going to try to dissect what they have to say when really they aren't saying anything. Like
go ahead.
Like this Crosby thing. Like why are we overreacting to this? I didn't get it.
No, I'm with you. And Ernie One says he gone hot sauce bet, Derek. Yeah, okay, fine. Ernie One, I'll take that bet. I guarantee you that Max Crosby is going to be a Las Vegas Raider in 2025. If I'm wrong, I will chug a hot sauce bottle.
Jesus,
that's a lot. Okay, maybe
I will
just
kill myself for in the name of Max Crosby's future.
Yeah, I'm not willing to die for Max Crosby. I'm sure Max Crosby's willing to die for some people, but I'm not willing to die for Max Crosby.
Right.
I think that I will. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of hot sauce. How about that?
Yeah, dude. There's no way they can get rid of him, man.
Well, this is also Niner fans trying to get a pass rusher opposite Nick Bosa. And I'm telling you guys, they're not going to trade for any of them. They have to draft them. They got to pay Purdy. They're not going to make I'm telling you guys right now, I do not see John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan making big swings in free agency and trades. They have to build this team within the draft. I don't see that happening this offseason.
I mean, they're probably going to give big money to Purdy, but if there's any position that I see them paying big money for in the offseason, which they could, the only position I see them paying big money for is the offensive line. Like
that could happen.
They're not going to pay like everything. They're not going to pay for like every guard or every tackle. They're probably going to try to build through the draft there as well, and maybe get some guy who they feel is undervalued right now, or some guy who maybe kind of fell by the wayside just because he didn't get a real shot. Didn't they just pay that one dude Hennessy like on a 2-year deal? So it seems like they maybe found their future at center.
He's in a practice squad guy just to fill in a left tackle for the last 2 games.
Yeah, but he's also like 2-year deal. They're not giving them that just to fill him in for the next couple of games.
Was it a 2-year deal?
2-year deal. Yeah. For a center. He's typically played center. So I have a feeling they're probably going to be playing him center next year. So if they're going to be spending big money, I think that's going to be on the offensive line, if anything.
No, you could be right, Steven. You could be right about that.
But to your point, paying for Max Crosby, that's not going to happen.
No, that ain't happening. I mean, there's a conversation that Max Crosby could be traded for 2 first round picks that I suggested at the trade deadline. And I just don't see that happening. Now, if the Raiders feel like they're up Schitt's Creek with trying to get the first overall pick, then maybe, but I doubt it. And we'll see how far the Raiders slide. Right now, they're 6th. I still don't think Shedeur Sanders wants to go to the New York Giants. So let's see what happens draft time. There's still a lot of time. See what happens, coach-wise. There's still a whole offseason to be had before we start talking about where Shedeur Sanders is going to manipulate the draft and everything. But, if the Raiders win this Sunday, then we'll see. It might be tough.
Dude, did you watch that clip from the Alamo Bowl press conference?
I don't know if it was the press conference, but I saw the kid next to Shedeur saying, "I'm playing with a future New York Giant."
No, not that guy. Not the future quarterback. But Shedeur gave a really thoughtful answer when he's talking about the teams that could draft him. I recommend if people are kind of on the fence with how they feel about him, maybe thinks he's hot shit already, even though he's not in the NFL. go watch that clip. It's like 3.5 minutes, so we're not going to play it on the podcast. But gave a very impressive answer. I was like, damn, I mean, I was one of those guys where I think like Shedeur maybe kind of got a huge ego already going into the NFL. But I think Deion's kind of taught him like, all right, you got to play the game now. You're going to go pro. Like this is you can get away with all this stuff in college, but now you got to go to the NFL where you got to earn that ego. And so he showed a lot of humility in that press conference. I was very impressed with his answers.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens this offseason with Shedeur. But
and tomorrow. Pretty interesting that they're playing those guys.
They're playing in the bowl game tomorrow?
I think they're playing in the Alamo Bowl, yeah.
Interesting. Well, we got 3 NFL games tomorrow, but I may need to sneak that in a little bit to see how Shedeur plays in his last collegiate football game. And shout out to Walter Iqbal in the chat right now. Hola, bitches. Everyone check out Walter's new podcast. He's just doing it on YouTube now. Passion for the Pastime. It's a good podcast. Take a listen. All right, Steven. We're doing this. Let's do Europe. I'm up actually 5-4 in our picks after I don't know why I picked the Chicago Bears, but for whatever reason I'm up. I mean, shit. Just real quick on that game. I know that no one watched it last night. I mean, actually, a good deal of people watched it last night, but it was a terrible game. 6-3. Good Lord. Caleb Williams, you can't like throw shit at the fans. Like, what are we doing here? Like, these fans complained. They complained before I got here. Stop. You're not winning any favors here. You're getting sacked every fucking play. What are you doing? Like, I know Ben Johnson will probably be your head coach next year and he'll fix everything, but God, this is what I was talking about. Like, it's not that I think that he's been a prima donna or anything, but like his demeanor and like, oh God, woe is me.
How's he going to react when he loses?
Exactly. And it's not looking good right now. Like last night where they're asking like, what happened with you not calling timeout in time? He's like, oh, I got hit in the throat. You don't think all quarterbacks get hit in the throat? Come on, man. Jesus.
I got hit in the throat once when I was playing freshman football. Face mask right to the Adam's apple.
Sucks.
Hurt like a mother.
It does. But you don't think Peyton Manning ever got hit in the throat?
Got hit in the forehead a lot.
Well, the little square he always had. Yeah, his face. I mean, God, like, yeah, it always would. He looked terrible.
He looked like Marv from Home Alone after he got hit with an iron.
By the way, I was debating this with Walter and Tim on the show. That moment in Home Alone 2 is just pure comedy, where Marv gets electrocuted and it cuts to a skeleton. It's so cartoony, but goddamn, does it get me every time.
Yeah, I mean, he just got hit with 4 bricks to the head.
Yeah.
Back to back to back to back. Like I'm told Jesse he'd be dead after that one, or at least concussed. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he'd be dead. God, what a baller.
Yeah, I know.
In the face of adversity, guy gets up after a couple of bricks. Come on, Caleb. Get hit in the throat. Marv got hit with 4 straight bricks.
I always think about what I would do if I was climbing down a rope with kerosene on it and it was lit with a fire on the upper end, like how quickly you could climb up the rope.
Oh, I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
Be done. Donezo.
Yeah, those Home Alone movies. Extremely violent, but it's good family fun. All right, let's do this, Steven. A little thing we call wins.
Hang on. Well, Ernie, too, when the tarantula's on his face. Come on.
Yeah, that's funny.
That one gets you. That was
Did you see what he's up to these days? David Stern or Daniel Stern? Daniel Stern.
David Stern's the
I know.
NBA owner.
I know. I remember. Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah, farming.
Yeah, well, he makes like fantastic art.
Yeah.
Sculptures. Like he's fantastic.
What a guy.
Well done. All right. Little something we call wins or wangs. Week 17 edition. Let's do this thing. All right, we got 3 Saturday games tomorrow, and then the rest of your Sunday slate. All right, let's start off with the 10 a.m. game. The Chargers take on the New England Patriots. Chargers are 4.5-point favorites. Over under 42.5.
Ooh. Way the points with I keep on seeing Drake May highlights, so it's like fooling me because you make some really impressive throws. But I will. It's the cold, so I'll take the under, but lay the points with the Chargers.
No, it's the Patriots.
Or excuse me, what?
Did I say Colts?
Or excuse me, what? Did I say Colts?
Yeah, I think you just did.
Oh, my bad. Lay the points with the Chargers. Oh no, I said it's in the cold.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, hey, come on. Jim Harbaugh said it's not a big deal. They get their young guys, warm bodies, warm blood vessels,
Warm
capillaries.
They're tributaries. Those known tributaries in the body, in the heart.
Yeah, he was throwing a lot out there.
He's just going with any Aries suffix that he could think of, and tributaries popped up.
All right, I'm going with the Chargers as well. So you said under?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go over because I think Drake May could put some points up, and that Chargers defense is kind of a little lately. So I'm going with the Chargers, gonna lay the points, but I will go over on that 42.5. Then we got a really good one, but I don't know if it's gonna mean anything for the Bengals now that the Chiefs have clinched and they play the Broncos next week, so they could rest all their starters. Well, the Denver Broncos take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. Over under 49.5.
I had a tough time choosing this one in our pick'em pool.
Hmm.
Lay the points for the Bengals. Give me the over.
I'm doing the same exact thing. I think that the Broncos will kind of take it easy tomorrow and then know that the Chiefs are resting for the last week of the season, and they'll clinch that 7th wild card spot. So you're looking at the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos all making the playoffs.
Lovely.
The Raiders will have one of the worst records of football. Arizona Cardinals take on the LA Rams, and it's a whole fucking ridiculous thing of how the Rams could clinch the NFC West over the weekend. They would have to win, plus have 3.5 wins from some other opponents. It's weird shit. Regardless, they'll probably make it. The Rams are 6.5-point favorites over the Arizona Cardinals. 47.5 is your over-under.
Lay the points with the Rams. Give me the over.
The Rams have had a hard time scoring lately against the Niners and the Jets. So I'm going to take the Rams to win, but I got that Arizona cover, and I'm going under on the 47.5.
So you think that the Cardinals defense is going to be the one to stop them?
A little bit, yeah.
All right.
The Cardinals defense has been good at times. Never mind.
Derek.
I'm going with what I'm going with.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Then we got, this is a tough one. Jesus Christ, this is tough. The Las Vegas Raiders are 1.5-point favorites over the New Orleans Saints, 37.5.
Give me the Raiders and take the over. I just barfed.
Yeah. I got the Saints winning. Spencer Rattler scores enough points. Give me the Saints. I'll go under. And that's maybe just what Raider fans want to hear. And I don't even know if I believe that. Ugh, God, this is so conflicting. Good Lord, Raiders should have won this game, right? But you don't want them to.
No, don't want them
Jesus.
to.
I want these games earlier in the year. Why is it Derek Carr playing in this game? Fuck. All right, Tennessee. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Tennessee is starting Mason Rudolph, and I think it's still Mac Jones for the Jaguars. Who cares? The Titans are 1-point favorites, over under 39.5.
Jags under.
Yep, I'm doing the same. That's all we need to say. Carolina takes on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks are 8-point favorites, over under 48.5.
Now that Buccaneers defense has been struggling, so I'm going to take the Panthers to cover. I'll take the Bucks to win, and I'll take the over.
I hear you on that one, but the Bucks, after laying an egg against the Cowboys, need to get a really good win so they can kind of edge out the Atlanta Falcons, who are right on their heels. Actually, I think the Falcons are right now your NFC South winners because they swept the Buccaneers. But yeah, I got the Bucks win this game, lay the points, and I'll go under on the 48.5. Then we got the Indianapolis Colts taking on the New York Giants. This is probably the best chance for the Giants to get a victory before the season ends. The Colts are 7.5-point favorites, over under 40.5.
I'm laying the points with the Colts. Give me the over.
Yeah, even if it's Joe Flacco, which it may be, doesn't matter to me. I'm doing the same thing. Give me the Colts, lay the points, going under. Then we got the New York Jets taking on the Buffalo Bills. Bills won against the Patriots, but didn't look fantastic. Bills are 9.5-point favorites, over under 46.5.
I think they really want to stick it to their division opponent, and I think Josh Allen is I think he really wants to run away with this MVP race here, even though Lamar might be creeping up. So lay the points with the Bills. Give me the over.
I'm going to take the Bills. I'll lay the points, but I'll go under on the 46.5.
Yeah, it's a big number.
And then we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. It will not be Jalen Hurts. He is out, still dealing with the concussion. So it's Kenny Pickett starting for the Eagles, but the Dallas Cowboys will be without CeeDee Lamb for the last remaining 2 games of the season. The Eagles are wearing their old Kelly Greens, which I love. They're 7.5-point favorites, over under 38.5.
I think the Cowboys at least cover, but I do think the Philadelphia Eagles pick up the win. And you said what's the over under?
38.5.
Yeah, give me the over.
I'm doing the same.
The over in every game.
Did I? Or
No,
you did?
I think I have.
Yeah, you have that. No, you took the Jacksonville under.
Going out on a limb with that one.
Yeah, exactly. I got the same exact thing as you. I think that Kenny Pickett could do enough to win this game. It may be a Saquon Barkley crazy game where he, try to break Eric Dickerson's record. By the way, did you see Eric Dickerson say he doesn't want him to break his record?
Yeah, I saw that.
What, you could pull a Gastineau here and call out any Jets, defenders at a book signing in years? Like, I want my yards back. Yeah, I'm doing the same exact thing. Eagles win, Cowboys cover, give me the over. Then we got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Dolphins are 6.5-point favorites, over under 37.5.
We got DFS starting this game or what?
Oh, do we?
Oh.
Shit, I didn't think about that.
Do we?
I think so.
It
still should be Jameis.
Jameis questionable, so it could be Jameis.
Oh, okay.
Both teams playing for pride. Maybe it'll be a close one. So give me the Browns to cover. I'll take the Dolphins to win on the road. And I'll take the under in this one just to go against everything.
Dolphins playing in the cold. I could see Myles Garrett going off in this game, even with Dorian Thompson-Robinson playing. Yeah, give me the Browns to win. I'll go over on the 37.5.
I said DFS as if he's Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, exactly. This is a good one. Really good one. We got the Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are 1.5-point favorites, over under 48.5.
Damn, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a really fun one. I mean, it's basically a pick 'em, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I'll take Green Bay to win in Minnesota. Let's shake things up. I'll take Green Bay to win in Minnesota, and I'll take the under since it's a pretty high point total.
You read my mind, sir. I can't see the Minnesota Vikings sweeping the Green Bay Packers. And honestly, if the Packers win this game, kind of means the Lions have wrapped things up, because at that point, the Lions would have a better division record than the Vikings. So maybe that last week would not mean anything, which would suck. But I kind of see the Packers going into Minnesota and winning this game. So give me the Packers. I'll go over on the 48.5. We got the Sunday Night Football game between the Atlanta Falcons and the Washington Commanders. No revenge game for Kirk Cousins because Michael Penix gets the start. 3.5-point favorites are your Commanders, and the over-under is 46.5.
I think Jade Daniels wants to prove that he's the best rookie quarterback in this class and wants to stop Michael Penix from even creeping up on him. So lay the points with the Commanders, and I'll take the over. I got a high-scoring game.
Same here. Do the exact same thing. And then lastly, the Monday Night Football game. It's an NFC Championship rematch. The Lions are 3.5-point favorites. 49ers, they're playing in this game. And the over-under is 50.5. Some of them are.
Lay the points with the Niners. Lay the points with the Lions, and I'll take the under.
I'm taking the under as well. I think that while the Lions are decimated with injuries, the 49ers are really decimated with injuries across the board. No Drake Greenlaw the last 2 weeks. No Trent Williams the last 2 weeks. No Jalen Moore the last 2 weeks. No Aaron Banks the last 2 weeks. I think they're just trying to stay competitive, but trying to come away unscathed. And I'm with Brock Purdy playing these last 2 games, but it's kind of risky with that makeshift offensive line and him trying to get a huge payday.
I don't think they should, but
yeah. They're your picks. Those are your picks for Week 17 in the NFL. And before we get out of here, I have to own up to a bet that I told Steven I would come through on, because we bet that one of the NFL games would outrate the Logan Paul-Mike Tyson fight.
forget this.
What do you mean forget this?
We got to talk about one other thing.
What do you mean forget this?
Forget whatever, dude. The NFL wasn't going to compete at all. 65 million.
No. Hey, we got up to the bet. I told you that if I got that wrong, that I would do a whole show in the Grinch voice.
Okay. No.
Can't do a whole show in the Grinch voice, but we were going to have a debate of Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson for MVP.
It's getting there.
Yep. All right. You start us off. I'll do it.
Look, man, at the end of the day, I know James Cook is tremendous, but in Lamar Jackson, and you can bring up the stats, but I just think with the talent that Josh Allen's worked with and the quality of wins that he's had this year, while Lamar Jackson has been with potentially a future Hall of Famer in Derrick Henry, I think that Josh Allen is far and away the most valuable player on his team. And I think he's opening things up for James Cook. Whereas Lamar Jackson, I think he's obviously tremendous. And what he did against the Texans, 21 miles an hour, my God. But he's also been playing with Derrick Henry. And I think Derrick Henry has really unlocked what Lamar Jackson can do. So for now, Josh Allen is still going to win the MVP to me, unless he just lays an egg for these next 2 weeks.
Steven, this is so stupid. Steven, in the past, I wasn't a big fan of Lamar. I don't even know what voice I'm doing. I can't even do a good Grinch on the spot.
Come on, man. You got to own up to it.
I haven't been a big fan of Lamar in the past. I don't know what voice I'm doing right now. What's wrong with me? I can do the Grinch. Hold on. Let me think of it. Max? I sound like Sean Connery.
It's kind of a mix of Sean Connery and Jimmy Stewart, if you think about it.
A little bit. So the thing about Lamar is, sounds terrible. I can only like recite lines from the fucking Grinch movie when I like to do like my own material. It's terrible. Lamar is having a fantastic season. Fantastic. 39 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, but I think the NFL has voter fatigue when it comes to Lamar Jackson because he's won the award, some kind of award. He's won the award twice in the past. So, and Josh Allen is a one-man wrecking crew all by himself. Now, he's got good players on the team as well, but this is the first time where Lamar Jackson is putting up ridiculous stats. I could see Josh Allen getting MVP, but at the same time, Lamar winning Offensive Player of the Year. But I think it will come down to these last 2 weeks in the NFL.
That it?
Yeah, that was terrible.
I give you a 5 out of 10 on the impression. Where's the round of applause? Give it to him. Yeah, way to go. Yeah, wait, the sound's off. There you go. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, there's no like players. Well, there's Max Crosby, so I could have just done like, look, Josh Allen's looking in the defender's face and screaming, "Max!"
It was right on a platter for you with the award of some kind.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I was watching that on. We had that on the background the other night while we were playing a game, me and the family. You know the channel, what's it called? Freeform or
Freeform, yeah.
You know, they add like a shit ton of deleted scenes to movies just to get the runtime for commercials.
Yeah.
You were watching, you're like, what the fuck is this scene in The Grinch? We never seen this before.
Yeah, they do that. You never see, they did that with like Harry Potter. It used to be, what was it, ABC Family? Now it's turned into Freeform. So,
oh, really? Oh, I didn't know ABC Family went away.
Yeah, they've always done that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So before we do, Jarek, you said before we get out of here, we haven't mentioned one thing.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
What do you think it's going to be?
Well, I was going to, do your thing first. I was going to do something a little bit sadder. Actually, a lot sadder.
Well, Dave Cavill resigned.
Yes. This is not sad at all.
And the downfall has been fascinating because I was going through it because I had a report on it earlier today. I can't think of a time Dave Cavill spoke publicly about the Vegas move when it really started to get some legs and they actually started to get the public funding and everything. You got a couple of statements, but you hadn't really seen him talk with like the Las Vegas Review Journal or any outlets in Nevada. The last time we heard him speak publicly was this moment in the legislative session. And this is when they were trying to secure the 380 million, right? And it felt like I posted this random video. Yeah, I
Look at his
know.
eyes.
I posted
Yeah.
this random photo.
32 nailed it here. Crackhead eyes.
But I posted a photo on my Twitter when this news surfaced. And it was like this random guy who's part of what looks like a council. As you can see on the bottom right, Senate Committee of the Whole. This was them trying to secure the public funding in front of Nevada lawmakers, and they were given their proposal. And this back and forth, I think, really was the beginning of the end for Dave Cavill and his time with the A's. I know he resigned, but I think he was kind of phased out of proceedings after this happened.
But that didn't answer my question. So again, it's a yes or no. Will you willingly commit to pay the live entertainment tax in the near future to fix the equity issue that exists?
Like I said, we are committed to being a great community partner in Southern Nevada and investing, over $1 billion to ensure
that still does not answer the question, sir. I'm asking you directly, yes or no. Will you commit to paying the equity issue that we see existence for the live entertainment tax?
The legislation as it's currently envisioned, does not contemplate that. The project is based on, what is currently proposed. And so we've been focusing on that as really the path forward for the team and for the community.
Thank you. I mean, I find that disingenuous. I asked you directly, you're going to be capturing this as part of your legislation, yet you can't even commit to doing it yourself. And so I think that's something that the taxpayers must know of this state, but I divert my questions for the next round. Thank you.
I remember that. That was fantastic by that guy.
And that was a terrible look for the A's. Now, they still got the public funding, and obviously they are on track to playing in Vegas in 2028. But ever since then, the guy who's going to take over as the team president, Sandy Dean, has been doing a lot of talking. So I think this has been in the works for a while now. I mean, like what did he do? He came in 2016. He tried getting this thing at Howard Terminal built, whether it was a actual concerted, genuine effort, no one knows. And he did the rooted in Oakland thing when the Raiders left for Vegas, and he created that as if he is dedicated to Oakland. Oh, we're this hometown team. We are committed to our city. And then Cavill just got embarrassed up there on the legislative session. Clearly was just out of it with Vegas. And Sandy Dean has been the one ever since the stadium started getting constructed and they were demolishing the Tropicana Hotel and creating room out there, doing all these different things with the Stadium Authority Board and getting all the approvals. Cavill hasn't been around. So that moment, I think that one with the optics of that's where the A's said, all right, we can't have you be in the face of this anymore because that was embarrassing. You didn't make us look good at all.
You're probably right, Steven, but at the end of the day, his sole purpose of signing or joining the A's was to either get them a new stadium in Oakland or get it somewhere else. And while a shovel hasn't been put in the ground yet for Vegas, I mean, he accomplished what he set out to do. So I think it was kind of just now it's time for me to go off to some other team and help them out with whatever they need to do, relocating, whatever. He was with the Earthquakes. He got that set up there, joined the A's. At first, I thought he was whatever. I really didn't think much of him. I thought like he was genuine in what he was trying to do with Oakland, and then it turned out to be all bullshit. He was just snake. I remember him fucking sending that video during COVID where he went to a Vegas Knights game where he was like, look at the vibe here, and that's when everybody turned on him. That's when we knew what he was up to. So he's a snake. He's just a little sniveling shit, in my opinion. Him and John Fisher can go have fun. Wherever, like John Fisher will go to Sacramento. Dave Cavill will do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Probably, ride around his gondola boats that he suggested for Howard Terminal. Yeah, go fuck yourself, Dave.
Yeah, yeah, but I do think this is. I remember people tweeting out after this, like, "Oh, Fisher out now. Like, you got one of those guys done. Is this Fisher on his way? No,
not at all.
Sandy Dean is a partner of the Fisher family. Like, he's their business partner. So really, they're just." axing out some random guy who they hired on to become team president and do this thing with the Earthquakes and the A's. And now they just got someone from the Gap. I don't know if he was like an employee. What do they mean business partner? Was he like working the cashier at the Gap or something? You know what I mean?
Something like that.
What was he doing? But now they got even more Fisher friendly, I guess, with the A's ownership group. So that's not good.
Yeah, and I've heard terrible stories of Dave Cavill speaking to employees like they're idiots at the A's. So yeah, whatever. Like I said, he did what he set out to do with that team. He helped them get a stadium, and yeah, he looked stupid in that, that moment there. But whatever, he got paid. Go do whatever. No,
terrible.
I mean, it was a bad look, and I'm sure maybe he would have kept on with the A's had that not gone over so poorly. But no, good on you, Steven, for remembering that moment. That made me laugh.
It's also a good thing that the A's are moving to Sacramento, where they clearly know how to run their organizations, aka the Kings.
Yep. All right. Before we get out of here, maybe we'll do a little pop culture catch up if you want to, Steven. But before we do anything, before we get out of here, I want to acknowledge the passing of Greg Gumbel. That shocked me today because, man, Greg Gumbel has been on my television since I've been a kid watching sports. I can think of like him on CBS for ever. Even on NBC when I was a young kid. But what I remember is Greg Gumbel being a studio host / play-by-play guy and calling Super Bowls and great moments. He's on the call for Joe Flacco's touchdown pass to Jacoby Jones in those final seconds in the Denver Broncos game. I just watched the clip where it just happened a couple of years ago where Charles Barkley's talking about how back in the day they didn't have enough laundry in the NBA, so you would shower with your jersey on. And Greg Gumbel has the line of, "Who are you, Jake Clampett?" Like it was like he was funny. He was a great studio host. I always laughed at. You remember in March Madness where they did like those weird like dancing things? You know what I'm talking about? Where they had like all like the cartoon guys. People in the chat probably know what I'm talking about, but they would do like this weird thing where they would have like Wii, like, you know what I'm talking about, like the Wii characters.
Oh yeah,
They had like those guys dancing during March Madness, and they would always cut to like Clark Kellogg like laughing at that, and then they would cut to like a stone face Greg Gumbel being like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen in all of television." Yeah, he and his brother were staples on television, sports television. Brian Gumbel, Greg Gumbel were great. I believe is Brian Gumbel still with us? I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Greg Gumbel, great television. I mean, God, everything. Like, I don't even know what to call him. Like icon. Like he was just a fantastic broadcaster, and it's sad to hear that he passed away today from cancer. Awful.
He's just one of the guys that's always been there. Like, and it's crazy how, an older brother and a younger brother would go on to be two of the most prominent, almost trustworthy, like, I don't think, as far as I know, like you hear, stuff about certain anchors, like behind the scenes, and you read about certain things, but nothing's really ever come out about Greg Gumbel. He did it always the right way. He's just always been there, man. I mean, that's what makes it sad. That's like, these guys really, you don't really know much about them, like, because, they can only show so much personality when they're doing a job like that, where you're in a role where you got to serve as like a lead play-by-play voice or a lead anchor, whatever it may be, because he's done a little bit of everything. And, I don't know what that next generation is going to look like, because a lot of guys who have held those roles, I mean, they've been doing it for so long. They've been in the business for 5 decades.
Yeah.
It's like, so who's going to take over that? Like, I think, play-by-play men and analysts are in good hands, but like traditional hosts who are there like to give you the news, I don't know if we're going to really have that so much going forward. So, Greg was kind of like he was kind of almost how do I put this? What he did was kind of like a thing of the past, but still maintained into modern television.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't really get this anymore. And I guess we do it in some circumstances, but think of like guys like Mike Tirico hosting, NBC and stuff like that during the Olympics coverage. Obviously, he does play by play, but You know, we don't exactly. Thank you, skills report. I don't want to use, that's the term I was kind of going away from, because obviously he has passed away now, but like he is the kind of was kind of the last of a dying breed. You know, and obviously that's metaphorically speaking, not literally.
Right,
speaking.
right.
So, yeah, man, really sad. I actually was taking a nap when I found that out. Then I woke up and I saw we were gonna do a little bit on the show, and I just saw rest in peace, Greg Gumbel. Oh my goodness, that's a shame.
Yeah, no, he was awesome, and I would recommend anybody. It's not in poor taste, but there was a funny, like, little side joke on Family Guy back in the day that I would quote with my friends all the time, Gumble to Gumble, where it was like a cop show with Greg Gumbel and Brian Gumbel. And one of my favorite moments all the time is when they're interrogating one of the like a criminal, and then Brian Gumbel's just chewing on his pen like he would do on a Real Sports, and he just goes, "Passion of crime or cry for help?" And the victim's like, or not the victim, but the guy the guy that sold the purse was like, "What are you talking about? I just wanted the freaking money." The hell's going on here? Just funny moment. But yeah, rest in peace to Brian Gumbel. Yes, one of a kind, where he could be a great studio host and play-by-play guy. And like you said, we don't have many like those guys these days. Like Jim Nantz did that too, where he could be in the studio. Like they actually traded off, like season to season. It went from Jim Nantz being the studio guy for CBS, Brian Gumbel being the play-by-play guy, and then they would trade that off every now and then. So yeah, rest in peace to Brian Gumbel, man. One of the legendary TV broadcasters of our time.
Yeah, for sure.
Want to do a little pop culture catch up before we get out of here?
Sure.
All right, Steven, tell me about A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan biopic.
Well, first off, before I get to that, Carry On, Netflix movie. I don't know if I mentioned it the last time.
I may watch that tonight before I go to bed. We're super early.
Taron Egerton, Jason Bateman. I know it's like a straight to Netflix movie, but those movies kind of stink normally. But this one was really good.
Christmas movie?
Sort of. Takes place on Christmas Eve.
Kind of Die Hard-ish with
it's in a Die Hard way. Yes, It's very much a Christmas movie. But Carry On, I recommend it if anyone's just looking for kind of an average action flick. Like if you can't figure out what you want to watch and you want to watch a movie, Carry On would be a good choice. But Complete Unknown, yeah. I personally recommend going to see it in the theater because a lot of it has to do with the actual sound. Obviously, it's about Bob Dylan, so music's a big part of it. But it's kind of like his transition from being a folk hero to him wanting to do different things. And it really takes place, I think, from the first time that he's discovered all the way through right before he made Highway 61 Revisited. And I thought Timothée Chalamet did a really good job. I mean, he worked on the character for 5 years. Who am I to say that he did a poor job of it? I know there's going to be a lot of Bob Dylan fans out there who have some sort of critique, but I mean, I had no problem with it. I thought he did a really good job.
He's worked on it for 5 years?
Yeah. This was a thing in 2020, and then it got like pushed back to 2022, then 2023, and then this year, 2024. So he's been working on this for a while.
Would
character.
Would you say his portrayal of Bob Dylan is as good as John C. Reilly's as Dewey Cox as Bob Dylan?
No. Nothing's going to top that.
Oh, yeah. God.
Come on.
Fantastic performance.
Come on.
The three-eyed birth canal in the Coliseum. This song is really deep. You guys just don't understand it. Yeah, I want to check that out. And I really want to check out, I know you and I have talked about this on the podcast before. This movie is getting great reviews. The Robbie Williams biopic, Better Man, is doing fantastic.
Yes.
Reviews-wise. I don't know if people in America are going to check it out because he's not very well known. But for a movie about a CGI monkey that is portraying a British icon, it's doing very well with critics. So that has to be pretty good.
Ultimately, man, these movies aren't about creating like a feature film that's going to stand the test of time. I think what it really is, what the aim of these movies, and Chalamet kind of said this about Bob Dylan, so I'm really stealing what he said the goal is. But if you can bring some new people into kind of their world and get them to listen to their music and appreciate people who maybe aren't as appreciated as they were in the past, like exactly the skills report. Who or what is Robbie Williams in the
No, I mean-
documentary? In the documentary, they go over it. Like they had one on Netflix. He was a massive pop star. Think of him as like a Justin Timberlake
Yeah.
in England. And I remember him from back in the day because my aunt had a huge crush on him. Even though he was like in his 20s. Like, good God, Auntie Leslie. But,
my Robbie.
but the whole point of these movies is to kind of bring back who they were. And I think that with Robbie Williams, he wasn't very well known in America because people didn't get him. Like they heard his music, they played a little bit of it on the radio, but when he came over here, I think he rubbed people the wrong way. So America didn't really prop him up. Like I think a lot of people thought he was going to be propped up, and it did a lot to his mental health. So it's fascinating, man. His story's fascinating, and I think a lot of people are going to be put on Robbie Williams, and they're going to learn that Angels, what an anthem.
Yeah, so let me just say that I knew of Robbie Williams before this movie came out. I remember the Rock DJ music video. You and I talked about this before. I didn't know that he was such a British icon, or not really a British icon, but a music icon, just not here in America. So I've been listening to his music, and he's really good. He's talented. Think of him as like a George Michael, or Justin Timberlake would be appropriate. Like the Angels, like that's for the women. But you're muted.
It's like, come on, dude, that's an anthem.
It's a very well done song, but it's not for me. Like I think Rock DJ is very good. I like Let Me Entertain You. I like there's a song that I learned from the documentary that he does like on his first album called like South of the Border that sounds kind of Oasis-y like. I think is really good. And his story's fascinating. He actually had a rivalry with Liam Gallagher from Oasis. So I look forward to seeing this movie because I love biopics. I love learning about people's past and seeing if it's really accurate or whatnot. And there probably some liberties taken in this movie, hence a monkey playing him. But I think it's gonna be fun. So I look forward to checking that out. Whenever it comes to America, I think it's just in the UK right now.
Yeah.
Or maybe in select cities, so LA, New York.
Yeah, Complete Unknown is being played in America, and it's going to be out later in England. This one, I think, is the opposite. Just because you have an American icon, kind of an English icon. Pretty cool.
Yep. So check that out. It's called Better Man. Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for tonight. Steven and I will be back on Tuesday, and I am off until next Thursday for dirty work. So I'll just be chilling, and Steven's going to be hard at work doing updates for KCBS, but we'll be doing I believe an old nooner. We're going to do a noon show on Tuesday on New Year's Eve. So count down with us early at noon. I'm tired. All right, I'm gonna get some sleep. To everybody in the chat tonight, thanks to Otis Birders, The Word, The Skills Report, Ernie 1, Ernie 2, AJ Cruz, Danny Golding TV, Michael Mark Carbone. Don't know who you are, but thanks for coming in the chat. Walter Icabaseta, AJ Cruz. I think that's it. All right, everybody. We will see you on the last day of the year at noon. Steven, say what you always say.
It's Tuesday, isn't it? That's just our opinion, man.